Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to say thank you for coming in our presentation today. It is great to see you all. First of all, let us give thanks for the presence of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala for His blessing, and secondly, salawat to the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam who has shown us the path of truth and brought us from darkness to brightness. So let me introduce myself. My name is Dede Rahmat. My NPM is 19220307, and my partner is.
My name is Arya Bagus my Fajar, and my NPM is 19220224.
And my name is Berlian D. My NPM 19220394.
Thank you so much for Arya and Berlian for introducing yourself to audience. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now we are going to deliver a presentation about type of morpheme, include root, affix, stem, base, inflection, and derivational. Well, Berlian, could you help me for share our PowerPoint, please?
Okay.
Thank you, Berlian. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see on the screen, here are the title of our presentation material today. It is talking about type of morpheme, include root, affix, stem, basis, inflection, inflectional, and derivational morphemes. Let's go up to the next slide, please. Ladies and gentlemen, here are the table of contents. The first one is root and affix. The second one is stem and basis. The third one is inflection and derivational morphemes, include definition, function, and example also. So let's go up to the next slide, please. Here are the roots. I will explain about the definition of roots. In morphology, a root is a morphologically simple unit which can be left bare or to which a prefix or a suffix can attach. It can be concluded that the meaning of roots can be divided into three important things. Namely, the first one is some elements of the words are more central than others. The second one's root is the central morpheme or the key elements to which others are added. And the last, roots have a lexical dictionary meaning, but some linguistic have a full meaning only when joined to other. Now I'm going to explain about affixes related to their meaning. So what is it affix? Affix or affixes are sounds that are added to a word, either at the beginning, at the end, in the middle, or a combination of the three affixes to form a new word whose meaning is related to the first word. The affix before the root is called a prefix. After the root is called a suffix. While inside the root, it is called an infix. Let's go up to the next slide. Thank you, Berlian. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here are some examples of roots and affixes explained. The first one, roots. Roots divided into four examples. The first one is noun, such as bake, house, etc. The second one is verb. For example, like walk, kick, etc. The third one is adjectives. For example, like good, bad, etc. And the last one is adverb, such as well, fast, etc. And now, the example of affix. The first one is prefix, such as read, untidy, unkind. So for example, like for suffix like quickly, walked, books, worker. For example, for infix like ups for pressures by. Well, that's what I can explain about roots and affixes, not only about their meaning, but also about some example in them. And now I will invite Arya Bagus Malik Fajar to explain the materials in the next slide. Arya Bagus Malik Fajar, time is yours.
Thank you, Dede Rahmat, for giving me time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I will explain about stem and base. The first one is stem. Stem is part of the word that is existent before any inflectional affixes such as plural, singular, or tense. Every word that ends with ablational suffixes, we call it stem. And the second one is base. Any unit which affixes of any kind can be added. The affixes attached base called the inflectional or derivational affixes. All root or base are called stem only in the context of inflectional morphology. Please continue to the next slide. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is example of stem and base. The first one is stem. The example of stem is bags. Is from what root plus plural. And the second one is players from word root plus comparative. And the second one is base. The example of base is dislikes from word like plus root plus past tense from inflectional affixes. We will continue to the next presenter. Berlian D. Octaviani, the time is yours.
Thank you very much for Arya, who has been giving me time to speak in front of you all. And dear ladies and gentlemen, sitting in front of you all, I would like to deliver my presentation about inflectional morpheme and derivational morpheme. The first is inflectional morpheme. Inflectional is creating various forms of the same word with addition of grammatical properties. The basic meaning and the category is the same and do not change the meaning. The second is derivation morpheme. And derivation morpheme is creating new word with the addition of affix with a different meaning that may belong to a different grammatical category. What is the difference between suffix inflectional and suffix derivational? And the difference is very simple. That's on the suffix in the derivational. This experience change in a word places and also experience change in a meaning, while the suffix on inflectional only experience a change in form or a change in a meaning. Keep in mind, derivation gives influence on the meaning of word, while inflection only adds influence on synthetic function. Move to the next slide. And this is inflectional. In this slide, we will discuss about inflectional suffixes that appear a lot of in verb, adjective, and noun. The first is verb. The suffix as function in the present simple as the third person marking of the verb. For example, to work, become, he works. And number two is the suffix ed. The suffix ed of function in the past simple or past tense, and the marker in the regular verb. For example, to love, become loved. Number three is en. The suffix en function in the marking of the past participle and in general in the marking of the past of the perfect aspect. And for example, to study, studied and studied, or to eat, ate, eaten. Number 4 is the suffix ing. The suffix ing function in the marking of the present participle. The gerund in the marking of the continuous aspect. For example, to eat become eating, or to study become studying. An adjective and noun. The suffix s function in the marking of the plural of noun. For example, dog become dogs. Next is apostrophe s. The suffix apostrophe s function as a possessive marker. For example, Laura become Lauras. Next is er. The suffix er function as comparative marker. For example, quick become quicker. And the last is the suffix est. The suffix est function as a superlative marker. For example, quick become quicker. Move to the next slide. This is derivation. Here that would fall under the heading of inflection. Now, the other types of elementose morphemes that indicates lexical meaning are called derivation, and these always change the meaning of the word they attach to. So in the case of the read and write, we had a change from an action to person who's doing that action, and in the case or likely and unlikely, we had to change from something positive become something negative. And now derivation can also change the word class, but doesn't always have to do so. Likely and unlikely remain adjective even though there is the derivation, whereas writer we see in the word class from the verb to write to the noun writer. Derivation always change the meaning. Write become writer and may change the word class. Write is a verb become writer as a noun. That's all from me. I'm so sorry if I have any mistake, and thank you very much for your attention. And I will give it back to the first presenter. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for Arya and Berlian who has collaborated to deliver presentation today. That's all we can explain about the type of morpheme related to roots, affix, stem, base, inflection, and derivational morpheme materials. I hope that will usable on our life. Thank you for all your attention, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.